Welcome to part 3 of our Rainbow Series. We call it the Rainbow Series because we are going through the energetic anatomy of our spirit, known as the chakra system. Each of the 7 major chakras, it's a power center. And as we connect to the power of each chakra, we show up to our lives in a more authentic way. Now, Carolyn Myss says this: life on earth is all about learning to manage your power. Our power is our vital life force energy, and it is our currency. It is the currency that governs our health. And through our choices every day, we either empower ourselves and invest in our energy, or it's costing us. So we learn to manage our personal power by learning to become aware of how we are spending it. For example, if we are feeling, I'm not enough and there's not enough, and maybe there's something that you want to try. You want to take a new class or read an advanced book, take a workshop. But then if you're thinking, I'm not enough, there's not enough, you might make your decision based on that, right? That class would probably be too hard for me, or I don't have the money to do that. That decision then will cost you. It's not a wise investment. However, if we decide we're going to make a decision and we think the spiritual truth, all are one, including me, right? God is all things, and that means me. And so we make our choice based on that, right? Okay, I'm going to try this new thing. I don't know where I'll get the money, but I just feel like it'll work out. This choice then empowers us. It's a wise investment. So level by level, we are going through our chakra system, and it's showing us how to become an empowered soul. So here I'm going to be talking about the power of our third chakra, known as the Solar Plexus, and it's represented by the color yellow. This chakra is our center of self-esteem and personal power, because when we have self-esteem or not, it changes how we show up. We either honor the divine in others or we don't, right? That ends up being our choices. We honor the divine in ourselves or we don't. Carolyn Myss says, the ingredients that make up self-esteem are essentially the same ingredients that energetically contribute the most to your health. This is because we live more from our solar plexus than the other chakras. Now, those ingredients of self-esteem she's speaking of, they're the qualities of God, the God qualities that we embody when we have healthy self-esteem. And they serve as a positive energy supply to our physical body. Now, our God qualities are, or you could call them our centered self qualities, but they're qualities like creativity and confidence, curiosity, calmness, right? Those are our God qualities. When we have healthy self-esteem, it's easier to access those qualities. They feel more natural. So going back to our first chakra, our root, it governs our connection to our physical experience. And it's where we start our journey of empowerment by recognizing that all are one. Then we move up to the second chakra, the sacral chakra. And here we learn to recognize that when we honor one another, we honor the divine in all, and we will see life as abundant. Now, our journey of empowerment continues with our third chakra, the solar plexus, where our spiritual truth is to honor oneself. When we honor ourselves and we make choices that honor the divine that we are, we feel empowered. We trust ourselves, and we don't need guarantees to move out of our comfort zone. We don't need the promise that everything will work out. We get curious, we think outside the box, and best of all, we can embrace the truth that we don't need an outer authority telling us how to think. Now, I'm not saying that an outer authority can't serve us, okay? I have for sure, like I see my doctor as an outer authority, but I always take what she says and I take it into my indwelling spirit and I kind of run it through that filter. Okay. And I've discovered things about myself that when I've gone to the doctor turned out to be right and she was wrong. So not all the time, of course, but we can still trust an outer authority in certain things, but we don't hand all the responsibility over to them. We trust ourselves and we trust what works through us, for us, as us. Now, the challenge of the solar plexus is that we might equate material power and having a bunch of cool stuff with happiness. See, if we don't feel our inner power through healthy self-esteem, we'll doubt ourselves. So we will rely on the conditions of our life to make us feel good about ourselves. We measure our success by what we have and how it makes us look, right? What we think we are. It's all those things that we think we are and that we're not really, right? I know I was once upon a time, I worked in holistic healing. I was a massage therapist for like 20 years. And when I first became a massage therapist, I used to tell people, yeah, I'm a massage therapist. I'm so cool. And I was really buying into this idea that I was a massage therapist. Now, when I had my kids and I was staying home with my kids, I was still working, but I was working out of the house. But we had a neighbor one time come by to visit and she said, so do you just stay home with your kid? And it was kind of this like, like, right? She just had this like judgment. And I was like, well, I do stay home with my kid. Oh, but I'm also a massage therapist. And then she was like, oh, well, okay. So everything was okay then. But I needed an outer authority to tell me I was okay, right? I was looking at other people's judgments of me before I could decide if I was okay or not. Now, if we're in the challenge of our solar plexus needing conditions to make us feel good about ourselves, it means that we are in the shadow, and the shadow is where we need the healing. Now, the shadow of the solar plexus is life's not fair. Life is not fair because when we need the conditions of our life to make us feel good about ourselves and give us approval, how often does that really work out? And then, somebody may approve of us, but then later they don't. So we're constantly seeking someone to validate us, and we can't maintain that. And it's going to start feeling like, life's not fair. Life's not fair. Not everybody's coming together for me to worship me. So if we're in the shadow of our third chakra, feeling like life's not fair, nothing works out for me, people just don't love me, we are actually in the shadow of our first chakra, where I am not enough, and in the shadow of our second chakra, there is not enough. So we go right into the shadow of the third chakra. So life is not fair, and these bad things shouldn't happen to me. Only good things, because I'm a good person, but bad things keep happening to me. Bad things shouldn't happen to the people I love. She was a really good person. She had kids. How could this happen to her? We will feel like the universe does not have our back. And we can spiral into asking these questions that can't be answered, the why questions. Why did this have to happen? Why was it her? Why was it him? Why me? We can't get a decent answer. We can't get closure from those questions. It's kind of like that old story of, you're in the woods and you get bit by a snake. The smart thing to do is to go find some help and take the anti-venom and, take care of the snake bite. But when we are asking those why questions, it's like chasing down the snake to ask it, why did you have to bite me? I wasn't doing anything to you. I'm a good person. Now, the way to healing and the way to empowerment is through the corresponding grace of the solar plexus, which is understanding. The grace of understanding, this is from Carolyn Myss. The grace of understanding grants us the capacity to transcend matters transpiring at the personal level. There are things happening in our lives, a lot of things that we cannot control. So we have to look at them thing by thing and decide, Can I change this? And if I can change it, I'll do that. If I can't change it, is this something I have to rise above? Right? There are conditions in our life. Are we taking them personally? Because you know what? These conditions, these things in our life, they're generally not personal, right? Most of what happens to us, it's not personal, right? The skyrocketing prices in a housing market, it's not personal. Okay, the price of eggs, this is not personal. We can't ask the why questions about this, right? Why? It's so unfair. I just finally wanted to buy some eggs and I can't afford it. So we look and we decide, okay, if I can't change it, I'll rise above it. We rise above the conditions of our life, right? Anywhere we think life is unfair, anywhere that we think or we're taking things personally, we rise above all this by invoking all of the graces so far, right? We go to our first chakra, the grace of reverence, to see all of life is sacred. This is where we can say, God is all things, everything that's ever been, and everything that is yet to be. We go into the grace of the second chakra, which is piety. So I know God is all things, everything that's ever been, and everything that's yet to be. So now I'm going to practice seeing that spiritual truth. I'm going to practice seeking out the sacred and seeing the divine in all. I'm going to practice now seeing God in all things. I'm just not going to just say it, God is all things. I'm going to practice seeing it. Because if God is all things, that means the solutions are here somewhere. And then we go into the grace of our third chakra. Now we call forth understanding. Okay, yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on. I don't like it. It doesn't feel fair. But I don't actually know how all this is working together. I just don't know. What I do know is when I remember God is all things, that means me, and I will practice seeking out the divine. If God is all things, that means everything is here by divine design. Because God is all things. And because God is all things, surprising things can come together for my good. Life can come together for my good in ways that I never imagined. Right? We don't need conditions to go our way. We decide instead to see life as our sacred assignment. So here's our call to action. I have an affirmation for you, and I would love it if you would say it with me. I'll say it first. I am a one-time, one-of-a-kind cosmic event. Let's say it again. I am a one-time, one-of-a-kind cosmic event. Our self-esteem guides why we do what we do. And without self-esteem, we'll blame the conditions of our life. We'll complain. With healthy self-esteem, we don't blame or complain. Instead, we find things to appreciate, knowing that life will always give us more to appreciate. Life always gives us so much more than we can imagine, right? Without healthy self-esteem, we might keep asking, why did this bad thing have to happen? This is not fair. But with healthy self-esteem, remembering that we are an extension of God, we can instead ask, how might God show up right now? How can I see this that I'm going through right now, that it feels like it's not fair? How can I see it as my sacred assignment? Without healthy self-esteem, we will continually look out to life and think, I'm not enough, there's not enough, life is not fair. With our healthy self-esteem, we remember life comes together for my good. There are things moving around here that I don't even know how things are coming together. There's a quote I love. I can't think of who did it. I think it was Max, or said it. Max, I think it's Max Planck. Something somewhere is doing, we don't know what. We don't know what. Life is coming together for our good. Life is coming together for your good. And so here's our invitation for this week. Instead of feeling like life is not fair, and that might come up for some of us, right? We might have a moment where it's like, that wasn't fair. Instead of feeling that, though, and asking those questions that never make us feel better, right? Why did this have to happen? why not claim what's going on as our sacred assignment? Call forth the grace of reverence. God is all things, and that means me, and that means everything else that's going on, and the grace of piety. So I'm going to practice seeing this. I'm going to look for the light of God in all things, all people, even if they eat, vote, pray, parent differently than I do. And then I'll call forth the grace of understanding. Sure, I may judge this or I may judge that, but I don't actually know what's going on, right? I don't know what I don't know. I don't know the big picture. I don't know how life is coming together for my good. So I'll just show up right here in my life, doing my very best. That's what we do. We don't know what we don't know. So we show up right here in our lives, doing our very best with what we've got. Because that is how we are creating heaven on earth. So remember, you are divinely designed to be able to do all of this. You are a one-time, one-of-a-kind cosmic event. In everything you do, you are blessed. And so it is.